What's up everybody? Today I will be giving you all advice on how to survive mid-game. And to be honest, surviving mid-game is the easiest part of the game to live through because majority of players are not focused on fighting. And in my opinion, it's only as hard as you make it. Early game, people are going to be more aggressive because it's a little easier to fight early than when people are already set up. And in-game is the most chaotic because there's so much going on and people are basically forced to be more aggressive. Mid-game is the time where players are just sitting and farming and waiting for the end game. There are 3 things you should be focusing on during mid-game, and these are positioning, rotating, and surviving. And real quick, before I go into detail on that, I have to say this all starts with your early game, more specifically where you land. You need to be landing somewhere that gets you quick mats and decent loot. And if you want to know some good places, I have a video that you can watch after this. Moving on, the first thing you should be focusing on is your positioning. There are 2 things to look for as far as where you should go for mid-game, and a more common option is somewhere near the center of zone. Now if you're landing on the edge of the map, this might be more difficult to do without being spotted, but it's still not too hard. Being in the center of zone raises your chances of getting the next zone, which means you won't have to worry about rotating as much. But it is going to be more likely that other players try to get near center too, so you have to be ready to fight or just have a good place that you can hide. But the second option is to get near the map's mobility, and all this is launch pads and geysers, which are normally placed on top of mountains, but there are some in other places. These launch pads are also normally around the edges of the map, but it's okay because they are normally uncontested and you can use them to get better positioning later on. The next part of your positioning is how you're positioned. You can sit in a building, in a box, or in a bush. And all 3 of these have their pros and cons. Like for sitting in a building, you are less likely to run into somebody if you can find a good spot. But if you do, chances are you'll be in a small space and you won't have a lot of room to fight or get out in case you do run into somebody. Sitting in a box is good because you can set it up anywhere on the map. But if someone sees that, chances are they're gonna know that somebody is in that box. And sitting in a bush is good because there's almost no way to tell if somebody is in there or not. But the bad part is, to tell if somebody is in a bush, you shoot through it. Which if you're in the bush, you'll probably get hit and be starting to fight on a health disadvantage. So basically, to sum up the positioning part of your mid game, you need to be in a box, building, or bush. And you need to be positioned on the edge zone or center zone. And on screen, I'll order the way you can position yourself from easiest to hardest. Now the next part of surviving mid-game is how you rotate. Now luckily, it's not late game, so rotate still shouldn't be that hard, but if you use the information from the first part of this video, you should already be on the edge zone, near mobility, or you should be in the center of zone and not have to rotate. But something to always go off of during your rotates, whether it's mid-game or late game, is dead side. And if your objective is to survive, dead side is always where you should try to go, unless you're already in center zone. Now dead side is a little more important to know during late game, but it can also be helpful during mid game. But all that is the side of the map where the least amount of players are. So to sum up this second part of rotating, you should be using the map's mobility or your own if you have it to rotate dead side, or if you were able to make it to center zone early, just stay there and keep going for center zone if you have to move. And the final part of getting through mid game is just surviving, and for this you need to know how to defend yourself. And I say that because players are going to be less aggressive during mid game because they want to make it to end game, but they will try players to see if they can get a free kill or easy kill. So you just need to be able to know how to fight people off. But it's always better to be a good fighter, just in case you run into those players that don't let up and want to fight till somebody gets eliminated. And the best practice for that is just by playing a lot of ranked and different modes where you practice your mechanics, aim, and anything that has to do with fighting. Now if you want the best routine to help you with this, click this video on the left, and if you want to learn how to actually improve, click this video on the right. Thanks for watching. See ya.